Hello and welcome to Angle Relationships. Today we are talking about when you have two lines and a transversal, which basically means you have two lines that may or may not be parallel, they're just kind of existing, and then a third line. This third line goes through both lines and is called a transversal. So very specifically, the transversal is this line right here as a vocabulary word. So here it is. A transversal is a line that intersects two or more lines. So we would say, the example is, in this case, T. T is a transversal. Boop. Just like so. Now, when you have these two things coming together and this one line crossing them, there are angle types that we're going to talk about. And this is very important vocabulary that's happening. It is very, very, very necessary in geometry to understand these terms. So before I do these four specific ones, I actually want to turn over the page and talk a bit about what alternate is, as well as what interior and exterior is, because these ones are all going to be like kind of two things to think about in one. So I'm going to kind of break up what each of these means. So first of all, there is going to be the interior and the exterior. So let's just pretend for a second that I have two lines like so. The interior is going to be the things on the inside. They consider this the interior because it's between the two lines. So interior means it's between the two lines. I'm going to make this a little darker to see. The interior is between the two lines, whereas the exterior is going to be outside of those. So if I was to highlight it yellow, it's this part up here and that part out there. So that's important to know. This is the interior and this is the exterior. So we're going to talk about consecutive interior or alternate interior. There'll be alternate exterior. It's just important to know that exterior means outside the two lines and interior means inside the two lines. The other two things are consecutive and alternate. So the word alternate you've probably heard before. When you alternate people, you're doing one and then the other. You alternate. And it's the same thing here. It's just if you're talking about the transversal, alternate means one of them is happening on this side and then the other is happening on the other side. So any combination of pink and orange here is going to be considered alternate. When you label them, it'll be like this is 1 and this is 2. These are alternate angles because one is on the left side and one is on the right side. Or I could do something like 3 and 4. These are alternate angles because one is on the left and one is on the right. They're on opposite sides of the transversal in yellow there. So that's what alternate means. Consecutive just means they're the same side. In fact, when I was growing up, they literally just called them the same side interior or same side exterior. So here, the consecutive would be just the pink or just the orange. So 1 and 4 would be consecutive, or 2 and 3 could be consecutive. Excuse me, guys, 1 second. Jason, I'm making a video. I have to have complete silence, okay? Thank you. Sorry guys, my son is adorable, but at the same time, he's also 5. So let's continue. Consecutive means same side. So 1 and 4 are consecutive. 2 and 3 would also be considered consecutive because they're both on the same side. Now, we usually don't call 2 and 3 consecutive, but in essence, it is just that. Meanwhile, alternate would be like the 3 and 4 and the 1 and 2. The 1 and 4. As you can see, I'm a very color-oriented person. The 2 and the 3. So alternate literally has one of each, and same side consecutive has the same. So same side or one of each. And the vocab that you see on the other side is literally just going to be a mixture of these. There's alternate interior, alternate exterior, consecutive interior, consecutive exterior. We tend not to talk about consecutive exterior that much, but it is a thing technically. So, here we go. So corresponding angles. Corresponding angles is the only one I didn't talk on the other one because it's very specific. It's angles on the same side in the same location. So the way I think about it is that angle 1 and angle 5 are the same, or rather they're in the same location. Both 1 and 5 are in the top left. So they are corresponding angles. I could say 2 and 6. 2 and 6, because they are both on the top right. So they are corresponding angles. Corresponding means like they match. If you might remember like a correspondent in the news, but basically it's one person goes with another person. It's the same place. So both are top left, both are top right. The 4 and 8 are in the same location, bottom left. And then in the bottom right of the angle is the 7, right? Because here's the angle, bottom right. Here's the angle, bottom right. Those angles are the same location. So they are called corresponding. And I'm just going to write that over here. So 1 and 5, 2 and 6, 4 and 8, and then 3 and 7. Alternate interior. So alternate again means they're on opposite sides of this transversal. So I tend to look at the interior exterior part first. Interior is the part right here. The interior. So if I'm looking for alternate interior, first of all, I can only be talking about the 4, 3, 5, 6 because those are on the interior. And then for alternate, that just means they're on opposite sides. So like the 4 and the 6 and the 3 and the 5, they're on opposite sides. Whereas for alternate exterior, same thing, but it's outside. So the 1, 2, and the 8, 7, they're on the exterior. So 1 is on the exterior. So the 1 would be the alternate, the 8 or the 7. For alternate, if it's the 1, the 7. And if we're talking about the 2 on the exterior, its alternate would be on the opposite side of the line where 8 is. And then consecutive is the whole same side on the interior. So once again, this is the interior. So ignoring these, this is the interior, and consecutive means the same side. So that would be 4 and 5, and 3 and 6. 4 and 5, 3 and 6. There we go. And then it's just a bunch of examples. So let's see what we got. I'm going to go ahead and do this. This is the interior right here. and this is the exterior. And with that labeled, all I have to really do is figure out whether they are alternate or consecutive, unless they're corresponding. So 1 and 8. 1 and 8 are both on the exterior, so they'll definitely be exterior. So then I have to say, well, are they alternate or are they consecutive? And if this is the transversal, which I'll once again do in yellow because I've been doing that, you can see that 1 and 8 are on opposite sides. So 1 and 8 are on opposite sides, it's alternating, and they're both on the exterior. 2 and 3. 2 and 3 are both on the interior, and they are on the same side. So since they're on the same side, that's consecutive. And at any time, feel free to pause and see if you can get them right before I say them. 5 and 7. Well, 5 and 7 is the interesting one because one of them's on the exterior and one's in the interior. So I'll go ahead and I'll check to see if they're corresponding. This is in the bottom left, and this is also in the bottom left. They're both in the bottom left, so they make them corresponding. Because that's the only one that has one of each, interior and exterior, is corresponding. 2 and 7, they're both on the interior. And then they are on alternate sides. 1 and 3. 1 is in the top left, 3 is in the top left, so these are corresponding. And then 6 and 7. 6 and 7 are interior and they are consecutive. There we go. Now we get to this one. The very interesting thing to note about this one is that at any given time, you're only going to be paying attention to half of it. So there's only ever one transversal you can look at. So you might be looking at these two lines with this one transversal, in which case you can compare these. Maybe I want to delete this one. And then we have this is the two lines and this is the transversal. So we can compare these. Or same thing over here, one transversal and you compare these, or one transversal and you compare these. But at no time can you ever cross this part out and try to compare those. There's nothing connecting these 2 points. So you cannot compare 5, 6, 7, 8 with 9, 10, 11, 12 because there's nothing between them. You can only compare them if they're connected somehow. So if you ever see one that's trying to connect one of these with one of those, it's going to be none. Because it does say at the top, right, none if necessary. So far we haven't had any. Just note that it doesn't always exist. If it's a cross like this, nothing will happen. So once again, I recommend pausing throughout this, see if you can anticipate what the answers are. So 5 and 13. 5 and 13. They are both in the top left, so it is corresponding. 7 and 14. Here's 7, here's 14. 7, 14. So 7 and 14 are both in the middle, and they are alternating sides. So this will be alternating interior. 3 and 6. 3 and 6. They're definitely alternating. I'm noticing that. And it looks like they're both on the exterior. This is the interior, so 3 and 6 are on the exterior. So alternating exterior. 9 and 16, 9 and 16. It looks like this is the same. These are also both on the exterior, and they are alternating 9 and 16. One's on top, one's on bottom. So alternate exterior. 4 and 7. This is same side interior, so consecutive interior. 2 and 10. 2 and 10. 2 is in the top right, 10 is in the top right. So these are corresponding. So corresponding is definitely the most different than the others. 8 and 14. 8 and 14. Those are both on the same side and they are interior. So consecutive interior. 6 and 11. What? 6 and 11. Yeah, 6 and 11 ain't gonna work. They're not connected by anything. So this is finally a none. Dura. 4 and 13. Uh-oh. Same thing with the 4 and 13. There's nothing connecting them, right? You can't connect it because here's where the 4 is. Here's where the 13 is. There's nothing there. So it's going to be none again. And then 4 and 9. 4 and 9. Okay, there we go. So 4 and 9. 4 and 9 are both interior, and they're on all opposite sides, so alternate interior. And there we go. That should be it. I already did some notes on the back, so hopefully this makes sense. If not, then, you know, rewatch the video, get some practice elsewhere. Or if you want to get some practice, then you can, of course, just rewind this video and see if you can do the questions before I do, you know, pause and all that. So have a good one. Hopefully it helps. Till next time.